1. The owners of the Titanic never said, "This ship will never sink." Despite James Cameron's 1997 movie portraying the exact opposite, the owners of this ship did not claim that the ship would never sink. 2. The first face on the dollar was not George Washington's. The first face to appear on this currency was Salmon P. Chase. The first $1 bill was issued in 1862 during the Civil War. Chase was the Secretary of the Treasury at the time, and also the designer of the country's first banknotes. 3. Edison did not actually invent the light bulb. Although Edison had 1,093 patents, most of them were not his own inventions. He stole most of them from others. While he patented the light bulb in 1880, the real inventor was actually British astronomer and chemist Warren de la Rue, who invented the first light bulb 40 years before Edison. 4. Cleopatra, the Queen of Egypt, was not actually Egyptian. Contrary to popular belief, the last Queen of Egypt was not born in Egypt. According to historians, Cleopatra VII was Greek. She was a descendant of Alexander the Great's Macedonian general Ptolemy. 5. Ketchup used to be sold as a medicine. In the 1830s, ketchup was all the rage when it came to popular medicine. In 1834, it was sold as a treatment for indigestion by an Ohio doctor named John Cook. It wasn't known as a condiment until the late 19th century. 6. Women were once prohibited from smoking outside. In 1908, Katie Mulcahy of New York was arrested for lighting a cigarette by rubbing a match against a wall. This was a violation of the Sullivan Ordinance, a city law that prohibited women, and only women, from smoking in public. During her trial in district court, Mulcahy defended her right to smoke in public. She was fined $5. 2 weeks later, the Sullivan Ordinance was vetoed by the mayor of New York. 7. Imagine a king who was an animal abuser and a pickpocket. The monarchy has always been a subject of discussion in many areas for one reason or another. However, there was a time in Egypt when the behavior and actions of a king surpassed all other problematic rulers. King Farouk angered the entire nation with his incompetence from 1936 to 1952. When corruption was at its peak, King Farouk would engage in gambling or tipping bottles. Initially, Egyptians described him as having his head in his stomach. In addition to being lazy, he was also an animal abuser. He once had a nightmare where lions were devouring him, so the first thing he did in the morning was shoot the lions. You would believe that a king usually has all the money he needs to buy whatever he wants, right? King Farouk was like that too, but he preferred to be a pickpocket. He once stole a watch from Winston Churchill's pocket. When he was caught, he claimed to have found the watch lying on the ground. It was obvious that he had no intention of promising his nation a better life. For this reason, he was dethroned in 1952 as the last monarch of Egypt. 8. Albert Einstein was more than a physicist. Did you know that the father of relativity would have become the second president of Israel if he had not turned down the offer? Albert Einstein was Jewish by birth and had all the qualifications for this position. However, he thought very differently. When the first president of Israel, Chaim Weizmann, passed away in 1952, the entire nation looked for a man to replace him and serve as a great leader of the nation. Einstein was 73 years old at the time, frail and as mobile as an atomic ant. He seemed the most suitable candidate for the job. However, since Einstein was living in the USA at the time, the Israeli embassy sent him a letter sharing his thoughts. Although Einstein had added many other titles to his endless achievements, he immediately rejected this title. Albert Einstein said that in addition to being old, he was inexperienced and that he was the wrong choice to be a man. Just think, wouldn't it be incredible to have a president who taught his nation about amazing scientific discoveries? 9. Years ago, instead of a quarter of a gold coin, teeth were given as a gift at weddings. If we were born in the Victorian era of 19th century England, we would probably be speechless at the cruelty of dentists, because there was a strange and shameful tradition among the people living in the Victorian era. This tradition was for women to have their teeth pulled on their wedding day or birthday celebrations. These teeth were given to them